Alright guys, welcome back to Celeste Strawberry Jam. This will be Drifting Deep Part 5, I think. Last time we got the berry and then got a little bit of progress on this room. This video won't be as long. You can probably see the time in the bottom. But I won't be doing one of those again. Doing that took literally the entire afternoon for me, and it's only really done as an indulgence, I guess. I wanted to see how it would feel like to have to talk the entire time. And like I said before, I wasn't really talking for the last few days, if you don't count the recordings. And when you're just stuck indoors for the entire day, then you have to release some of those thoughts, otherwise they build up in pressure and you start doing weird things like commenting on videos and stop being a lurker. You evolve into a commentator. I wanted to boot this up because once again I was watching Alex Diner's Strawberry Jam video that one released. Still haven't watched the one from Indie Game Chris, but it seems like he has finally figured out how grounded ultras are a pretty important mechanic in this level, and has reviewed the section on the gym fort. Unfortunately for him, the grounded ultras, he got to the part where he was supposed to do a grounded ultra, not just the one at the end, but there's also one at the beginning. Not at the beginning, I guess, but more near the middle, after the first fling from Battle Line into the bird. I think it's a bird ultra into a grounded ultra into the jellyfish, and then you ultra again. You get a ton of speed. You hit Madeline, go through that whole process, get in front of Kevin, and then keep on going from there. End of the room will be a necessary ultra, I think. That one Alex will have to learn. But another thing that I noticed, that I did notice before, because nobody usually takes that sort of route in this level, is that the top of the Kevin actually has retractable spikes, which means that you have to do the intended method of doing a Kevin bop into a wall bounce. Otherwise, if you initiate the spikes too early, that means that at the end you can't do the ultra onto Kevin into a grounded ultra for the jellyfish. Now, Alex should see that when he gets there and be immediately like, oh, this means that I have to reroute the beginning, and then he'll reroute the beginning, and at that point he can probably pretty quickly get to the end. And that'll be that. But even though he's knows that the level's about grounded ultras, he still isn't applying it very, it's not applying them in the correct places yet. You can see how grounded ultras would help in the previous sections, but without the actual practice that comes with it, you can't just be like, oh, this is what I was supposed to do, and have the same amount of learning that occurs, that comes from recognizing that a technique is necessary and then pulling it off. Yeah, I have to be pretty concentrated at the end there. It's really only for the down and to the left and then down again. That one is very tricky. But once again, this isn't going to be a very long video. I've started this recording late because I just did other stuff between watching Alex's video and starting this recording, which translates to just watching other YouTube stuff. I've been watching a little bit of Technology Connections. Not the first time, but I think understanding home appliances and how they work and how they're intended to work versus how we usually use them is very good. I looked back on the part 4 video, the one that is like 6 hours long, and first of all, I think I mentioned this in the video itself, it is very different from a streamer going to stream, because streamers taking breaks. The way that I'm doing it, I have to be talking the entire time. It's something that I'm kind of forcing myself to do, but it's still something that I put out as a challenge for myself. Streamers have chat they can rely on in order to talk about things, and they can, just not talk at times. For a stream, the expectation between a streamer, what a streamer has in general versus what I have right now for myself in these videos of just talking non-stop about stuff that I might want to talk about, is very different. Like, probably this is harder, quote unquote harder, but in another sense, harder can be subjective. The thing with streaming is that a lot of work goes into streaming other than just the stream itself. There's a lot of prep work that has to come into making the experience enjoyable for people, and for me right now, I'm just opening up OBS and switching my game capture to Celeste and then playing Celeste instead. Another thing that I noticed on Alex Steiner's video is that one of the comments talked about like people not understanding what the format of the Let's Play is, especially those who comment, but I feel like that's not really the case. I feel like most people here have a pretty good understanding that the playthrough is like delayed, staggered somewhat, since the most recent reminder is, this level, this video. The way that Alex is recording this, I think he records it with like a week delay in advance, so a difference of around 3 to 4 episodes. By counting the number of videos between when he receives information and when he gets it, you can pretty easily determine how long it is between present day Alex and recording Alex, playthrough Alex. For the purposes of Kevin Tech Spam, the minimum time seems to be like 3 or 4 days. I think it has been like more in the past. That may be because of the paint incident. Maybe it's because of the lava layer incident with the goalkeeper. But generally it's like around 1 to 2 weeks. And so another thing that they might misinterpret is that when people are commentating stuff like, oh, you should have done this in this spot, they're not talking about, it doesn't matter to them that current Alex isn't on that stage anymore or hasn't just completed that stage. Yes, the message will be diminished because you won't get the proximity of practice. I don't think Alex is rewatching videos for like a 3rd time, especially after editing. That seems like a lot of work. Like if commentators talk about something in chat, then Alex will have to play the level. They'll have to edit the video, which usually means rewatching it, in order to pick out stuff that you might have not been paying attention to, or stuff that you missed. Usually, one pass is probably enough, but with the way that editing goes, it's usually much longer than that, if you're going to be paying attention during the editing. Like for me, when I edit my videos, it's usually just like speeding up or cutting. Cutting takes up a surprisingly large amount of time. Even with basic cutting, it's still like you still have to rewatch everything, and cutting things isn't too easy. Setting the appropriate start and ends, then you know, deciding on where you want to cut, setting the appropriate start and ends, deciding on the best time to do so. That stuff can take a little bit, and if you're going to be cutting like that, then you also have to re-watch the finished product at least once, just to make sure that everything flows nicely. Some people don't do that, and you can tell that they don't because they'll have text on screen and it just goes way too fast for you to actually read the text. They just render stuff and then send it up into YouTube, which honestly pretty based. That's something that is within their full rights to do, but it, you know, decreases the experience for recording, Alex. Well, no, for editing, Alex. If the raw footage is like 2 hours long, then that's another thing of concern. Like, not to brag on being unemployed, but I think Alex has the time to play lots of Celeste. I think it's because he's unemployed, but I'm not too certain on that. Maybe he just has a lot of time in general. Looking at his schedule, really kind of only like tried to fully understand it. Not really fully understand it, but got a slightly better understanding of it the other day from looking at the channel description. And it seems like slot 5, which occurs bi-weekly, 2 times every week on Wednesdays and like Saturdays or something. Those take an hour. That's like at least 3 hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours playing. Each of the other videos, which occur twice every day, I'm pretty sure, or maybe is it 3 times every day, also translates to like at least an hour for each, which means 2 hours, which stacks on top of the bi-weekly videos. For a total of maybe I'd like estimate around 4 hours of playing games and editing the videos for them. For Strawberry Jam, that figure can quickly balloon, especially if you're gonna do it before you sleep. If you do it before you sleep, then you can always just dig deeper into your sleep schedule and then maybe edit the videos the next day once you wake up. But it's still something that takes a lot of time. Which brings me back to he's really not going to be learning these levels, these techniques, if he does them the wrong way, and then gets told the correct way in the comments, or not even told the correct way at all, for a couple of times where he's done the unintended way to do something. Then if it doesn't make the technique overly hard, then of course people are less likely to commentate on it. Some people still do. That person probably being me, but there are a couple of others as well. But it's just, I don't know. I'm worried about the future of the series, if this learning is going to not be instilled deep down. It's only in 2 places, like Alex said, but it is very important to understand these techniques, and he is directly at a location where this technique is applicable. Talk about grounded ultras, of course, but he's not doing it, even though he's literally just done the gym section for today. It's because he's jumping right after the bird ultra instead of doing a downright dash into the jellyfish. I think it might give him too much speed. I don't recall what happened to me during my attempts on Kevin Textpad on that room, but maybe he skips that grounded ultra, but surely he has to have a grounded ultra at the end. If he does that grounded ultra, he remembers that the technique exists, and that, I mean, for the next few videos, reporting Alex will have just constant streams of comments telling him that grounded ultra is the ability, grounded ultra is the technique that he needs to use for the completion of the level, and why doesn't he just grounded ultra? And so I think it'll be in the back of his mind for at least a little bit. Probably don't want a repeat of that incident, of that type of comment, like stream again. So I trust that you'll probably remember the technique. After that, it's a pretty short room. That's pretty easy, all things considered. Especially considering the type of level that Q&Text spam is. And then a little challenge at the end. More of a puzzle like Dropsel than anything else. And then the level will be done. I think Alex will probably go ahead and go for some silver strawberries just to cool down for a little bit. But I would be kind of surprised if he just continues to do Grandmaster levels even after that. Wow, that is tricky. I really do need to fast bubble down and then dash left down. But yeah. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, Kota now had a pretty nice rant today, and I think it's very enjoyable to have those rants. It gives us a little glimpse of the madness behind the madness that is Pyanodons, and the process that you have to go through as a person in order to beat that mod pack. And it gives us a glimpse of a person playing it. I think making yourself human by describing these incidents is very interesting. And as someone who's still pretty young, I'm not very familiar with the perils of adulthood. And so maybe I view it as like something to learn from. It's probably not something to be modeled. Given how, you know, if you're playing Pyanodons, you've probably done something wrong in life. But those rants are always very enjoyable. I enjoyed them back when Artillery Day was still a thing. Now every day is Artillery Day. The only close comparison that we have is the Landscaping Day. Maybe I'm just one of the few people who did like the Artillery Days and the Landscaping Days, but listening to just the sort of rambling, the sort of ranting, I find it very enjoyable. It's the videos themselves are already second monitor business, and so things that just contribute to that sort of feeling, but it doesn't make me any more unpleasant in regards to the series as a whole. Still gonna be watching them. Still gonna be watching them regardless of if Landscaping Days will continue, of course. I'm still interested in Pyanodons as a whole, but yeah. A part of me wishes more malevolence, that more unfortunate events will befall our leader Kota out here, but hopefully he doesn't get himself into scenarios or scenarios don't befall him that require ranting in order to release emotionally in a Pyanodons event. But sometimes life happens, and you just have to tell someone. I wonder if I crouch dash into this green bubble, it would give me more space to go down that can probably be something that I can do, but yeah, fast bubbling down is probably the way to go. It gives me more control. I can just treat it as if I just did a regular dash down. But yeah, this will be a short one. Just wanted to talk about stuff in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Probably in another 2 days. Bye bye.